The headlines. Former Premier of Malaita Province, Daniel Suidani, passed away today at the National Referral Hospital. Minister of Mines admits no environmental bond was paid by the license holder and contractor of the now seized Reynolds bauxite mining lease. And Solomon Islands pledged $1 million to the Pacific Resilience Facility. Hello. You're watching SIBC's TV News Bulletin. I'm Andrea Maahanwa. Former Premier of Malaita Province and Malaita Provincial Member for West Baigu Fataleka, Ward 5, Daniel Suidani, passed away today at the National Referral Hospital. Suidani was one of the most vocal critics of the country's diplomatic switch from Taiwan to China in September 2019. Speaking to SIBC News Today, Malaita Provincial Secretary Eric George confirmed the late Suidani's passing and said the Malaita Provincial Government sends their condolences to the late MPA's family and they look forward to receive his body in Auki.
Yeah, our provincial government and what the people believe me, Malaita Province, we are sorry too much for Harem, this fellow passing on from one of our leaders here, the former Premier, Daniel Suidani. Currently, he's still serving as the MPA, Member of Provincial Assembly for Ward 5 here, time when he died. Yeah? So we'll pay him our honor and our heartfelt tribute for him time when he passed away. Yeah? Updates from our meeting within Premier and Executive within Provincial Assembly members. We would like too much for receiving body, where I'm still with him, with the relatives, Honiara. Time and proposed plan is body come. We would like for that is going to be updated further. Consultation with him, with the relatives, for paying our tribute or our respect with our hearts. If we like for receiving body, that is led by our Speaker of the Provincial Assembly, our law enforcement officers, with him support of our provincial police officers here. Or receive him at the wharf.
Mr. George says late Suidani's legacy will live on and be remembered by the province.
Looking at the past, the present, and the future of our developments, history becomes a history, and the moments we are in will always shape us from our learning experiences, considering our past history. And it's time where, we remember his contributions to this province. We can all come together with the loving peace through spirit of unity, where we can work together for the betterment of our current and future generations. Leaders will always become historical experiences of our times, and those legacies will be always in our hearts to shape us in different dimensions that we can contribute to the development of our community. We must always unite together. We must always stand together as brothers and sisters, as one province. That's the message where I'm always important. Yeah.
The company behind the now non-operational Reynolds bauxite mine did not pay an environmental bond, a critical safeguard for land rehabilitation. The Minister for Mines, Energy and Rural Electrification, Derek Manuari, revealed in Parliament, highlighting a major gap in the country's current Mining Act. Alex Dadamo reports.
No environmental bond was paid by the license holder and contractor of the now seized Reynolds bauxite mining lease. Minister for Mines, Energy and Rural Electrification, Derek Manuari, revealed when responding to question raised by opposition leader Matiwale in Parliament today. Minister Manuari admitted that the current Mining Act contains serious flaws. One of them is the lack of specific provision requiring the payment of an environmental bond to ensure rehabilitation in the event of environmental damage or disaster.
Locally in the Solomon Islands, the current laws that IMI Garem, unfortunately, there are no specific provisions even though the current mines and minerals act here, as well as the environmental act here, even though government specific provisions where require payment of an environmental bond. So to answer the question, Mr. Speaker, there has been no environmental bond paid here, no, this for a case. However, the government recognizing this one as a grey area in this industry or this sector. And the Ministry of Mines, together with the Ministry of Environment, we are working on this, through our legislative reform program to transform the sector.
The revelation raised strong criticism from the opposition. Opposition leader Matthew Wale described the situation as negligence of the worst kind by the government. He was supported by the Member of Parliament for West Are, John Maninyoru, who also expressed deep concern over the lack of accountability and environmental safeguards.
Yeah, sorry, Mr. Speaker, hearing this on me like Karayana. This is a terrible state of affairs. This is negligence of the worst kind.
Like for joining little hard lem hemi karaya bata mi hard lo mi hem nam now hem hard for karaya minister for long time to masi mi koko obam tison big neglect so mi hard for karaya now awesome like for karaya but hard
me assuming no more that something hemi has already been addressed. Hemi no good that the issues here me will raise him in questions here before government hemi kick around for addressing. Time question have come out on notice, but this is negligence of the worst kind. In last time, Gold Ridge, we had issues with the tailings dam, and them overflow for go inside Lomo, water go downstream or downstream complain all the way. That already, we're talking about 10, 15 years ago. That should have highlighted the need for this bond there to all mining operations right across the country. And yet we have not learned from that experience, Mr. Speaker. You go to Renault or West Renault and you see the holes that these guys have left there. Hey, man, I'm sorry something here. And to make matters worse, or it is packing or heavy equipment here, no more rust there. So not only or digging place here, no rehabilitating, or throwing waste log at there more. And it's just really a ridiculous situation. To say that there was nothing in place all these years. Me, I assume that the standard practice here, bond must go in here. But I have no go in here, my karagay. You mean, really the government has been negligent. Over many years, not just this government, this one, unfortunately. Over many, many years. And me, hatlo me baro pain.
SIBC TV understands that the BLC hearing into the Minerals Resource Bill 2025, the Geoscience Society of Solomon Islands, GSSI, called for the bill to clearly spell out and ensure that mining companies pay the environmental bonds as part of their operational responsibilities. Alex Dadamu for SIBC TV.
The Solomon Islands this week pledged $1 million to the Pacific Resilience Facility. Sharon Anau reports.
Solomon Islands this week pledged $1 million to the Pacific Resilience Facility, PRF. The pledge was made during the PRF Partners Roundtable Talanoa, held alongside the 2025 annual meetings of the World Bank and International Monetary Fund in Washington, United States. PRF is the region's first Pacific-led, owned and designed international climate finance institution. Pacific Island Forum Secretary General Baron Wanga highlighted the PRF as a symbol of regional solidarity and self-determination, designed to deliver locally led climate and disaster resilient solutions for the most vulnerable communities in the Blue Pacific. 15 Pacific Island Forum leaders signed the PRF Treaty at the 54th Pacific Island Leaders Forum in Honiara, Solomon Islands last month, affirming the region's collective determination to advance locally led action for a safer, more secure and resilient Blue Pacific. Sharon Nanau for SIBC TV.
Betikama Adventist College has received a new 410-meter-long perimeter fence for its girls' dormitory, formally handed over this morning by the Australian government under its Solomon Islands Australia Community Partnerships Program. Simon Tavake with more in this story.
Betikama Adventist College has received a newly built fencing facility for its girls' dormitory from the Australian government in a formal handover ceremony held at the school compound this morning. The 410-meter-long fence was funded under the Solomon Islands Australia Community Partnerships Program, one of a record 100 projects awarded in 2024. In his remarks, Minister for Education and Human Resources Development, Honourable Tozen Leokana, said the project represents a symbol of safety and security for young female students.
It is a symbol of safety. It is a symbol of dignity and respect for the young women and girls in this community or here at Betikama, which it reflects our shared belief that every woman, every girl that have the right to feel secure in their surroundings, or whether at home or at work, or in this case, in the school, which we witnessed this morning. On behalf, once again, of the government of National Unity and Transformation, thank you so much, Betikama, for going out and seek funding to build a secure place for our young ladies.
The project is said to mark a new chapter in the strong partnership between Australia and Betikama Adventist College.
This fella fence, hemi one fella new fella chapter, lo strong partnership lo Australia within Betikama's Adventist School. Earlier this fella year, Australia provided him support for building new fella toilet block, also funded long Community Partnerships Program. That fella project hemi for improving hygiene and dignity below Oketa students. Today, this fella new project hemi continue along that fella spirit below care. Because fence round him dormitory hemi no just for mark him space. Hemi help for keep him Oketa students safe, especially long nights. Hemi give him peace below mind, lo Oketa family that pikini below Oketa safe long boarding school.
Showing the appreciation for the new facility, School Principal Bevan Tutuo and Head Girl Junlin Alependava both acknowledged the Australian government for its support.
So mi fala lo Betikama like for thank him na every partnership where mi fala garam through Australian aid, through school, hem garam to what other work, especially CS Vision construction, hem na kam building erecting this wala, constructing this wala fence, and mi fala just like for thank him okota. So this wala fence hem bara make sure that everything hem securely for other girls mi fala, and so we will happy to mas lo this wall fence. We all sabe that what girl by this time or garam safe place for stop. O kata parents by you know worried most we garam peace of mind because girl blue hem stop good lo in sa lo dormitory blow mi fala lo here because lo this wall fence.
I like say thank you as a student and mi fa staying sa lo environment we hem safe but mi fa willing for learn and doing best. Mi fa like say thank you and mi fa hope there's more to come.
SIBC TV understands that the total cost of the project was approximately $400,000 Solomon dollars. The handover ceremony was witnessed by representatives from the Australian High Commission, the General Secretary of the Solomon Islands Mission of the Seventh-day Adventist Church, staff and students. Simon Tavake, SIBC TV.
Solomon Islands has made progress in human development over the last decade, but challenges remain. Sharon Anau with the details.
Solomon Islands has made improvements in human development over the past decade, but progress remains uneven and significant challenges persist. The National Development Strategy NDS 2016 to 2035 Medium-Term Review Report reveals the country's Human Development Index, HDI, rose from 0.507 in 2010 to 0.565 in 2020. marking a modest but important improvement. However, this remains below the country's targeted range of 0.625 to 0.675, a gap that underscores the need for sustained and inclusive development efforts.
The Human Capital Index increased from 0.507 in 2010 to 0.565 in 2020. But these falls short the targeted range of 0.625 to 0.675. 23% of Solomon Islanders, nearly 1 in 4, cannot meet their basic needs. 17% of our population suffers from malnutrition. But here's what gives me hope. The seasonal worker program brings in about SBD 500 million annually. That's 500 million reasons to believe that when we nurture real opportunities, our people thrive. But that's not enough. What else can we do? Certainly, there is so much more that we can do collectively.
The NDS Mid-Term Review Report recommends nationwide investments in essential services like water, sanitation and food systems, saying that economic opportunity alone is not enough to lift communities out of hardship. While seasonal labor programs have brought in over 500 million Solomon dollars annually, officials emphasize that it is more important to create more domestic pathways for workers to earn decent incomes at home.
33% of our people cannot meet basic needs. This is unacceptable. We have successful models. The PALM scheme generates, as I've said earlier, SBD 500 million annually. Let's scale it up. But what's more important is to create more domestic pathways for our workers, including our youth, to earn decent incomes at home. But ladies and gentlemen, earning money isn't enough if you have to walk 3 kilometers for water. It's not enough if your children get sick from poor sanitation. It's not enough if malnutrition stunts your child's growth. We must strengthen food production systems. 17% malnutrition. In a nation blessed with fertile land and bountiful seas, this tells us we have untapped potential. We have the resources. Now we must strengthen the systems to connect these resources to every community. And ladies and gentlemen, let me be clear about gender equality. We will mandate gender-sensitive budgeting across all ministries. Our women carry half the burden of development.
Sharon Nanal for SIBC TV.
And now the latest in sports with Crofton Utukana.
The Solomon Islands Football Federation (SIF) has officially appointed Australian coach Daniel Barrett as new head coach of the national women's football team. Barrett takes over from former head coach Patram Suri, whose contract expired earlier this year. The announcement was made by SIF Chief Executive Officer Leonard Paya on Monday this week at the SIF headquarters in East Honiara. Barrett will lead the women's team as they prepare for the MSG Prime Minister's Cup in Papua New Guinea next month and the FIFA Women's World Cup 2027 Oceania qualifiers scheduled to take place in Honiara in February 2026. Coach Barrett expressed his excitement about the new role and pledged to do his utmost to help the team achieve its goals.
I feel very honoured and very privileged to take charge of this national team. It's a region I know very, very well, and I think in women's football, this is the most exciting women's team we have in the region at the moment. To take charge of this team is a massive honour, and I just want everyone in the Solomon Islands to know I'll be doing everything I can to help this team achieve the goals that they want to achieve. I look forward to the upcoming tournament in PNG, Prime Minister's Cup. This will be a good opportunity for me to see my girls play live. Also get a good understanding, a live understanding of our opponents when it comes to World Cup qualifiers. So it's an important tournament, and I'm really looking forward to taking part in that. But I just want to say it's a very big honour to be in charge of this team, and I'll be doing everything I can to take this team as far as they can go.
Meanwhile, SIBC Sports understands that Barrett has previously worked with A-League clubs, including Sydney FC, Western Sydney Wanderers and Central Mariners, where he served as technical director for their women's football program. Crofton Otukana, SIBC TV.
And that's news. Follow us on sibconline.com.sb and our SIBC News Facebook page for more of our latest stories. Thanks for watching.